Welcome to the September 17th, 2018 Advance Report for McGowanGroup clients and NetWorthRadio.com listeners. I'm Spencer McGowan, your financial weatherman, president, McGowanGroup Asset Management. We're going to go through the global financial markets in about 5 charts in about 5 minutes. An educational tour that you just can't get anywhere else. Visit our YouTube weekly and be sure to subscribe, because when there are huge market events like one of the implosions we're going to talk about, we're going to bring you an educational video designed to help you make great financial decisions. We're going to start with the Dow. Year to date, notice the Dow had its, well, I'll call it the winter storm, range bound for a while, but notice the strength here. Dow Jones Industrial Average spiking over 26,200 this week. You know, less than 400 points from an all-time high, and a very steady, benign uptrend. Life won't always be this good, as evidenced by that correction, but it also says the underlying profits year over year have been strong enough to drive U.S. equities into the lead globally, and we'll talk more about that as we go through. This is an absolute train wreck. This is cryptocurrencies. The value of cryptocurrencies peaked, as you can see, just before Christmas, and in less than a year, over $600 billion in value has been wiped out from that mountaintop you see right there. Virtually $840 billion in cryptocurrencies piled in as the news report hits about people in their garage making millions. Well, it hasn't turned out so well since then. This is worse than the tech wreck of 2002. Phase 1 of cryptocurrencies is over. What is phase 2? And what do phase 3 have that we're going to cover? Well, this weekend in the long play program, you go to NetWorthRadio.com. When you do, be sure to fill out the preliminary client questionnaire. Come down to the Crescent, meet the team in a 1-hour brainstorming session. We could make a huge difference for you over the next 10 years. Now, we get to China. You can see the trade war impact really accelerating here in June. There are other factors like debt levels, slowing growth, but the Chinese market going all the way back to 2017, this being about a 1-year chart, what we're seeing is when we look at this implosion recently, stocks like Alibaba, Baidu, former high flyers are just getting cut off at the knees in the current bear cycle, which applies to a lot of the emerging markets. The Federal Reserve has relentlessly raised rates and is expected to go to 2% base on September 26th. That has big implications. We'll cover more about it in this weekend's program. But the Chinese bear cycle is well underway, and Hong Kong joined them this week. Texas banks took it on the chin this week. We found it interesting that the Texas banks are actually now down year to date, having given up prior gains. And the numbers on the underlying bank fundamentals look good. Bloomberg tried to explain it by, oil prices are down, but oil prices topped $70 this week. So that's really not the primary factor. But there is something happening here in the Texas banks in unison. I do want to point out First Financial Bank shares. We have a client that's a longtime family shareholder, and this is the little bank that could. Obviously, they didn't go broke in the crisis. They're based in Abilene, benefiting from the shale revolution. Their correction here this past week was somewhat muted, but congrats to the little bank that could out in Abilene. Now we go to just a big winner. This is not a recommendation for your portfolio, nor are any of the securities that we talk about until you actually come down and get a written plan and discuss how to diversify a portfolio. But Salesforce is notable in that it is a category killer. Customer relations management software, as their symbol claims, well, they dominate the category. Well rewarded this past week, reaching near $160 a share for the first time in history. It's good to look at winners and say, okay, what logic would have gone into adding to those? Instead of just a coulda, woulda, shoulda, how about we can, going forward, find still some good growth companies that are not too overvalued. I'm Spencer McGowan, your financial weatherman. Always a pleasure to be with you for your quick educational tour of the global financial markets. Be sure to subscribe and recommend us to your friends. If they ask you for financial advice, you're uncomfortable, say, well, here's a link, go do that. We'll be back next week. My firm, McGowanGroup Asset Management, sponsors NetWorthRadio.com and, of course, our YouTube channel under McGowan Group. Some educational disclosures and discussions that I wanted to add to the broadcast. The first is, I'm very proud of our team, including Stephen Norris, who will be added as soon as we redo the picture. He's our newest team member. Come down, meet the team that cares, get a written plan, because the securities we discuss, the financial news we discuss, that's not a recommendation until you actually come down and get a customized plan at the Crescent. You'll get a tour, and we look forward to seeing you. We're going to cover value at risk of loss in portfolios, and you can see it right here. Learn about our performance, what happened in 2008, how long did it take to recover. All of those items are posted right here at NetWorthRadio.com or the McGowanGroup.com. The other part of the program, when we look at price fluctuations and bear markets and risk control, that's a huge part of NetWorthRadio.com. We look forward to helping you advance your plan and your cash flow. Come down and meet the team that cares.